he ao te aroa. It's land, it's land, it's land through a long white cloud. Māori come from a place called Hawaii, a homeland to the northeast of here, and it's where our first descendant by the name of Kupe came from. When Kupe and his entourage or his people arrived, they saw this grassy land or hills popping out through what looked like a long white cloud, Aotearoa. So that's the very first name of New Zealand.
We are LeKi op Reis. That's Dutch for Léon and Kirsten on travel. And we travel the world to capture beautiful destinations and extraordinary cultures. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our travel blog, madefortravelers.com.
Haka is a dance of a noble people. Haka is, again, an identity of Māori. There are many different types of haka. There's the expressive haka which displays anger about the subject that we're doing the haka about. There's also other haka which talk about the histories of the land, histories of different ancestors, battles of different ancestors. And haka is an expressive way for Māori to be able to tell their story and let it all out. Haka today has become a brand almost. Before it only identified to Māori, but now it identifies to New Zealand.
The beauty of haka is that you can design it specifically so that it suits you and where you are. And through a massive brand like the All Blacks, other teams have picked it up, and then schools and kindergartens, and what that's led on to is a learning of the language.
Yeah.
1 or 2 words at a time. And now most people would be able to translate the haka word for word. And they might know another haka or their school haka, and that's more learning that goes with it. And so, because of the beauty of haka, and everybody wanting to be a part of it, I think that has helped to integrate it into New Zealand society.
So the haka to me, it means a part of my cultural identity. It is a part of my customs, my traditions, and it was an important ceremonial dance that was passed down from my ancestors, and we still practice it today. This is what I love. I love being able to show my culture off to the world. It's the only job in the world where you get to poke your tongue out at your customers and you get paid for it.
And yeah, that's a good reason to do it, right?
Very, very proud actually to be able to show our culture to the world, and people like yourself embrace it.
Yeah.
They embrace our culture and they love it.
And do you think you can do this like your entire life?
I'll keep on doing it as long as I can. As long as I can stamp my feet and do the haka, I'll keep doing it.
This is the Waitangi Treaty Grounds, New Zealand's most historic place. This is where on the 6th of February 1840 a treaty document was signed between the Māori people, my ancestors, and the British representatives. We were the minority when these brash young European or British sailors were coming in after spending years out on sea and then coming into our countries. They mistreated our people, they mistreated our women, they mistreated our children, they murdered our men, they murdered our kids for no reason whatsoever other than they felt that they had the superiority over us. We fought to the bitter end, and it was because of the vision of our many prophets, our many visionaries that we had pre-1840 that foresaw this happening, was the very reason that they wanted this treaty document. This treaty document came about as a request from Māori so that we were able to move forward as one people, as one nation. Moko it's an identity print of our people that tells the history, the genealogies, and the stories of you as an individual who wears the moko. In short, it is a tattoo, but it tells your whole story because prior to the pen and paper, our body was the paper, the ink was the pen.
The reason the old people had moko was to identify who they were. It was to also identify what they did, where their standing in their tribe was, status, things like that. And that's what it's still about. And it's still about identity. The main part of it is all about identity. The client will come in, we'll have a conversation, and from that conversation, and then look into our, in our minds, because in our mind we have all the designs, and then we utilize the right design to get that story sort of understood on the skin. We do not draw the design before the client comes. For us, it's best that it comes directly after the conversation because that's when you're at your freshest. That's what makes it so unique. Like today, I had an idea in mind, but then as soon as I saw her back, it changed just like that, and it looks totally different to what I was going to initially do. In the old days, they utilised the bone chisel. The chisel was actually, tapped on the face to split the skin, like cut the skin. And if we take a look behind me on this photograph here, this is one of our Māori kings. His name was Tawhiao. And if you can see, like, the incisions were made on the skin. So you can actually see it was cut. Whereas on my face, the lines are like drawn, eh?
Yeah.
But these guys did it the hard way.
British wanted Māori to cede all of our rights and our sovereignty and ownership over to the British. Henry Williams, who translated the document from English into the native tongue, Te Reo Māori, knew full well that Māori would never ever agree to those terms as set out in the English document. He translated it in a way whereby Māori would understand and whereby Māori would agree to the terms as set out in the Māori document. From 1840 to today, in fact, it has always been a contentious point of discussion.
We arrived here from the Pacific, and in the Pacific they practiced tatau or tattooing. So we would have brought those skills here, and then our designs changed as we arrived here because of our environment.
So the design of my tattoo is based on my iwi, so the awa, so the Wanganui awa, and the design is like the ropes, the ties coming into the rope that tie all the different iwi down the river together.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So did you know when you came in here this morning how it would look like, or?
Not exactly, no. I gave him free will to do what he wanted to do, yeah. I trust in his designs.
And you're very happy with it?
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you're Maori as well?
Yes, yes.
Are you 100%? How does it work?
I'm not sure on percentages, but my whakapapa tells the story. So my mother is Pākehā or English, and my father is Māori, and through him we go up. So yeah, of Te Te Awa, Tu Wharetoa, and Te Ati Haunui, a Paparangi iwi. So,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. So not everyone can get a tattoo as you have because you're part of the tribe. So it's not. Can I get a similar tattoo?
You can get similar tattoo to my understanding, but it's called kurituhi, I think. So it's the same sort of design and things, but not with the whakapapa, but your own story.
Yeah.
People that are outside of my tribe, they'll just see me as a Moko face, but my tribe knows what it means because I've explained it to them. And it's about my guardian, it's about a spiritual guardian, because we're big believers on that stuff, that we have tribal spiritual guardians, and that's what mine represents.
Nature is our everything. And when I talk nature, I talk the whenua, the lands, I talk the rako, the trees, the ngahere, the forests, I talk the moana, I talk everything within the moana. That is our nature, that is our world. Everything has a life force, everything has a heartbeat to Māori, and we treat it with such respect. And that is our cultural upbringing, and it's a part of our tikanga, our practices of we as Māori. To be respectful to everything around us. Swimming in our awa or our river, knowing that we're swimming in the ancestral waters that our ancestors also swam in. Wairua, that spirituality of our ancestor, also cleanses us. It cleanses us physically, it cleanses us mentally, and it also cleanses us spiritually. Te reo is the language simply translated. It's the language of our people. If our language dies, our people die. Our culture dies.
Without language, we don't have an identity, I believe. You know, everybody has an identity as a Kiwi with the English language, because that's what we're known for, apart from Haka. But as Māori within our own country, we need that.
Te reo goes way back to Hawaii. Te reo was kept alive through the traditional types of songs that we sang. Haka. We told our stories and histories and genealogies through our whakairo, through our carvings and our meeting houses. And so that's how we communicated with one another.
It was our missionary brothers and sisters that come over, you know, from Great Britain, from Europe, and started to record the language on paper. Through the diligence of people like Williams and other dictionary writers, hopefully with the help of Māori, that they recorded as many words as they could, and that's how it became a written language.
And they used the alphabet of the English language to write the Māori language.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
My grandparents were a part of that forbidden generation that weren't allowed to speak the language, and that came down to ignorance from the non-Māori that were around at the time, who felt threatened by the language because they couldn't understand what our people were saying. They tried to outlaw, in fact they did, they passed a law that forbid Māori to speak their native tongue. And if they did speak the native tongue, they were strapped for speaking the language. Because of that ignorance, it caused the whole language to miss an entire generation, which was my parents' generation. But in the past, I'd say past 20 years, a lot of work has been done to revive the reo. We've got universities now providing Māori language courses to help with the revival of Te Reo Māori.
Where things Māori were pushed down then, now they're re-emerging, but they're re-emerging with not only help, they're re-emerging with funding, and they're re-emerging with love, because our politicians can look back and say, okay, that was wrong, we can't fix it from then, but what can we do for now to help and enhance this person's educational experience and to help them get on their way and to learn what they need to learn.
Yeah.
The acceptance of Te Reo Māori is starting to broaden, starting to widen around our country, and that's very, very encouraging, I think.
It's good to hear that.
That's a good bump. Yeah.
If I see your Māori heart, you might get a facial tattoo.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.